There was a scientist who made a rocket to prove the earth was flat. Is the earth flat? How do you feel it is flat? I don't feel it's flat. What I feel if I tell you is worse than being flat. I say it doesn't exist. We are just making it up. You can make up in many ways. Scientists are using these words now. Some are saying it's a two-dimensional flat earth and the illusion is it's three-dimensional. Some scientists are saying. Some are saying it's a hologram. There is nothing in it at all. Because if you truly examine the information we have today about this planet, about this earth, this universe, what does it consist of? It consists of atoms, which are matter, and space, and energy. Energy is not physical universe. Matter is physical universe. Okay, if you examine what is matter, matter is made up of electrons, and electrons are made up of certain nucleus, the protons, neutrons, and then there are electrons moving around it. It's very interesting that they're so small. What is between them? Space. Nothing else but space. How much space? 99.9999999% space. Hardly any matter. The nucleus is very, very small. These atoms. Put all the atoms together, make molecules, make building blocks, and if the whole earth is put together, in 1945, I was studying for my Bachelor of Science degree in physics. Professor said, if all the space is taken out, do you know what will be the size of this planet? It will be like a football. We are very impressed with this knowledge that if space is taken out, it will be like a football. In 1963, I was at Harvard University, and the scientist was giving us this same measurement, that if all the space is taken out, this world will be like a pinhead. Are we just space or something more? According to these statements, which are true, we are all space. Emptiness. And emptiness is creating all of us, that we can see each other, we can talk to each other. A three-dimensional world is four-dimensional. Now they say 11-dimensional world is there, because they can't account for certain radioactive signals that are coming, which means there has to be at least 11 dimensions to prove everything exists in form of energy. So that is why dark matter, dark energy have to be introduced to introduce a balance between the positive and the negative. This world is constituted by atoms where electrons are floating around the protons. Electrons are negative. There has to be a world where electrons are positive. Because when energy makes matter, it divides instantly into matter and antimatter. Where is the antimatter gone? Where is the antimatter gone? They're searching for it. They can't search, so they call it dark matter. So much imbalance is there, showing there is something missing. We can't see it. We don't know where it is. But we are a hologram. Maybe, that's the scientific statement today, maybe somebody is playing a game on a computer, very good computer, outside of our space and time, and playing a game and creating space and time, and we are all products of his imagination. Maybe. If you say that is God creating, yeah, that makes sense in religion. God is playing with his computer. I get lots of cartoons sent to me by people in which God appears. And God is trying to make a mistake. And he says, oh my, I can't say God. So things like that. So who is playing this game? Is it a hologram? Is it created from energy? Then the most striking thing that has happened, according to me, in physics, astronomy, was a statement made by Einstein, Albert Einstein, a month before he died. He said in his notes, he wrote some notes, and he said, I have spent my whole life searching what I have observed. I did not search the observer, the role of the observer. Very important statement. Why did he say that? Because before that, they had discovered that when light photons are passing as a wave, if you try to measure them or observe them, they become particles. That means the human observation or human measurement can convert an energy like a wave into a particle. They didn't have too many high type of devices at that time. Now they have. Today they have devices where they can actually examine a molecule or an atom. They can examine a hydrogen atom. A hydrogen atom has only one electron. We know exactly the distance of the electron from the neutron. And we also know it's in orbit, keeping the same distance. But is it in orbit like this, or in any other millions of forms we can take by slight shifting it? Where is it? When I went to college and school to study physics, they used to make a map. Hydrogen atom, just put a little dot, a circle, and there's a place anywhere, one electron. They don't do it now. Electron can be anywhere. It's like a wave. How did they find out? You put a laser beam of that size, laser beam anywhere in the orbit, in any orbit, electron is there. That means it is there all over. If you can find it anywhere. Once you find it, it's only there, nowhere else. Supposing you put two laser beams, or 5, at different points, the electron is at all 5 places. When you remove the laser beam, it's only at one place, which is picked up 1. Then it's only at one place. What is human measurement and human observation doing? Are we creating matter by observation? Very much. This has been proved for 40, 50, 60 years. We've been examining this, and more evidence has come how human observation, human measurement can convert what is a wave into a particle, what is an energy into a matter. So it's a very big thing. So these new thoughts are coming up about a flat universe. There could be a hologram. Recently, another great scientist died. You probably know Stephen Hawking. He spent his life in trying to study the origin of the universe. And he was very sure of the expanding universe, that there was a singularity, a point from where the Big Bang took place and the world is coming into being and expanding all the time. What was the reason for that? What is the calculation they made now? The calculation is when they look at the different galaxies through better telescopes now, all moving away from us. The big mystery came when they said, which is the center of the place from where the Big Bang started? If it is one point from where everything has started, we should be able to find the point. Our planet Earth is in a very remote area of one of the galaxies, Milky Way, very quietly located, but when we look at all the galaxies from here, they're all moving away equally from here. Are we the center of the universe? No way. Okay, then we can try measuring from somewhere else. Let's take a telescope to outside the space of our universe, measure from there, and that's the center of the universe. Now they found out every place in this universe is the center of the universe. That means that the expansion did not take place like we thought. The center itself has expanded and causing the universe. A difficult concept to understand, but that's what they say, expanding universe. Also, every year now, for many years, we've been able to see the rate at which it's expanding and the acceleration at which it's expanding. So we know the expansion is taking place at this rate. So let's go back and see the contraction backwards. Yes, we can go back. Now we can see at that rate of expansion, a reverse reading is about 14 billion years ago it started. That's how we found out. We have no other way to know when the universe started. Okay, this universe came into being 14 billion years, 13.6 billion years ago. and has been expanding ever since, will keep on expanding till probably something happens. What will happen? Stephen Hawking was the first one to say what could have happened before the Big Bang. Where did it take place? Have we any information? And then they discovered black holes. That fascinated him, to study black holes. They found there are some pieces, energy, matter combination, very small, heavy, so heavy, heavier than our planet, heavier than all the universe we are seeing. Where is all that matter sitting in a small little place? And they found that that particular spot, if you see around it, it is eating up everything. All matter is being absorbed by a little spot. Not only all matter spot, all energy is being pushed in. Not only energy, time and space are being pushed in. So he came up with the idea, maybe we are a product of explosion of a black hole. Black hole was already filled up with all of us and all the universe and all the history and time. He wrote a beautiful, small little book, A Brief History of Time. You might like to see Stephen Hawking's. And also a movie was made on that basis. But the point he was making is that something has happened. Maybe it was a black hole, like we can see now. We've got 2 black holes now discovered in our own galaxy, Milky Way. And there are 1 billion black holes now in the entire universe as we are observing. Every day we observe, there are more. Now that's not the only mystery, by the way. Some of you might be scientists, and I'm just sharing with you some things, because I shared these things 60 years ago. I was just 30 when I was sharing the very things I'm talking to you today. This will be a problem, a mystery. The mystery is we are finding better telescopes. When you look at the sky and you say, I can see 1 million miles away. You can't see anything million miles away unless the light from there comes to you. Therefore, you are seeing something that existed 1 million years ago. You can't see what is there now, because light is the only constant Einstein discovered. Nothing is permanent in this world except light. The speed of light, velocity of light, not light, velocity of light. 184,000 miles per second, whatever the number is. That's the constant number. That's the only constant. Everything else is relative to that constant. He found that the wave of light does not follow the Doppler effect, which means all other waves, sound waves for example, if it's moving towards you, it gets compressed. It changes. If it's moving away from you, it's different. You can always know when a truck is leaving, the sound changes. It's going away or it's coming toward you. You can see the difference in the sound. Sound waves get compressed and expanded. Light waves don't. They remain the same, no matter whether coming to you or not. Supposing you are driving in a car, I'm sorry I'm taking you into this little scientific area. Some of you might be interested. When you're driving a car at 40 miles an hour, another car passes you at 60 miles an hour. You don't feel 60 miles, you feel 20 miles, because you're also going 40 in the same direction. So the next car that's passing looks like it's just 20 miles speed. If you go faster, you go at 60, both cars are going together. If you at 80, then you are passing at 20 miles an hour. So the differential between the two will always be the differential in the velocity at which you're going. Now supposing there's a light beam going, and a parallel light beam is sent to it, the differential should be 0. But the differential is the velocity of light. How do you explain that? No explanation. The differential between the two is the same number, the velocity of light. Can't explain it. There's no rational explanation, but it's an observed fact. Therefore, light, he said, is the only constant. Everything is relative to that. Everything is relative to this particular constant. Now, here we are looking at the speed of light, and we have found there are places where the speed of light is more, around black holes. Just less than a month before Stephen Hawking died, he gave an interview. It's a very good interview. And I have listened to the interview. In the interview, the middle he says, I want to know what was there where the singularity took place and time itself came from that point. If the physical time came from there, what was there before that? And this is the great physician saying, I believe there was imaginary time. His words. That there is imaginary time before physical time was born. And then he explains, by imaginary time I mean that when I am happy and 2 hours pass and I feel it's 10 minutes, 10 minutes is imaginary time, 2 hours is physical time. He says the 10 minutes existed prior to the 2 hours, even before the world was created. Imagine what he's saying. He's saying what we imagine pre-existed this physical universe. Exactly what I am saying. Exactly what these mystics have been saying. Imagination, not as imaginary as you think, is the birthplace of the physical time. So that is why when you say we have got an astral experience and it's an imaginary, it's unreal because it's imaginary. Why do we say it unreal? We say unreal because we have fixed our mind. This is the only reality in which we are living now. The physical reality is the only reality. Everything else is imaginary. We just built this into ourselves. Very big mistake. Go into pure imagination, that means where you're not aware of the physical, it will be more real than the physical. Try it out. How is the physical world created? From imagination. That is why you can imagine it's flat, it will be flat. You can imagine it's round, it's round. Then who is creating this world that we are experiencing? The answer from the mystics, answer from the saints is, we are creating this universe. Our consciousness is creating the universe. It's not existing outside of our consciousness. The entire experience we are having of this physical world is coming to us only through our 5 sense perceptions. You cut the 5 perceptions out, there's no world. You open up these 5 perceptions, world comes into being. But we have, because of the nature of reality, definition of reality built into our mind, that we can check the reality of this universe by matching one sense perception with the other. I want to know, is this table real? I'm seeing it. Is it delusion? I touch it. No, I touch it. It's real. I'm matching one sense perception of touch to make it real for the vision. We are using these 5 sense perceptions to create our reality. It's amazing that this is the only way we are creating. And they are not coming from outside, they are coming from inside us. When we talk of an astral self, what is the astral self? Astral self is nothing but sense perceptions without the physical body, without matter. That's the astral self. When you become unaware of this physical body by meditation, you become aware of the astral self. How does imagination work in the astral plane? Whatever you imagine becomes real. That's the kind of life there is. You can be young, you can be different, you can change your face just by imagination and become real in the astral plane. Not here. We can't do it. So that is why scientists are trying to understand with all these differences. And now the biggest problem, I can tell you, those who are scientists here, that as we develop better telescopes and see further back into history, we have been able to see up to 6.5 billion light years back already. When we reach 13.6 billion light years back, we should be able to see the source of this universe. And we'll find a bigger universe than we have here. What a big mystery. Every time we have a better telescope that goes further into the past, the world is bigger, not smaller. And that will be totally breaking the current thinking of a singularity that created the universe. There are many universes that are bigger than this, in which this took place. That will also be found out.